on YouTube. We
It's
lost
all
a sub.
We lost somebody. It's probably Veronica. She probably finally dropped it. I see she still follows us on Instagram. I see her little post every once in a
Oh
while.
my gosh.
Veronica was the one just a while
How many ago was that?
2. So I had one before, and then I had one before.
Wait,
that.
which one was Veronica?
Veronica was the Hispanic one.
She was like a long time ago.
It was within the year, my friend.
She's not the one you went to Chicago with, is she?
No, that was Michelle.
That was Michelle. How many ago was that one?
Like 7.
Let's see what we can do with this one with no pre-production minutes.
None.
On the fly, doing it live. Jam it on the one. Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the UNT3 podcast where these three guys, bring you, the listener and viewer, all music, all the time. I'm your host, Ryan Gerfers. I also am known as Coach. My wife has to call me Coach. And so,
right on.
Just saying. I had somebody ask me one time, they tried to call me, hey, Ryan. I said, no. You can't call me Ryan. They were like, well, that's your name. I said, no, my name is not Ryan. And they go, well, what does your wife call you? And I said, my wife has to call me Coach, damn it. So they were like, no, she doesn't. So.
You don't know me. You don't know my life.
You don't know who I am.
Hey, don't talk to me like you know me, SA, okay? Now, here's the thing. This guy is a hero, and we may or may not listen to that song tonight.
Oh, please don't.
Know yet. We may, and he also loves Mariah Carey at Christmas time. Just saying. And
I don't think that I should be subjected to 2 of the songs I hate the most in a row.
We'll see. We'll see how the mood strikes us later. But this guy over here, he's going to do it in one take again, because that's what he does. Yep. Damn it. One take Fisher. Yeah. Okay. So we're coming at you tonight. And here's the deal. I don't know how this is going to go because we're doing it live. So I'm coming at you right now. It's whose corner are you getting in?
Ooh,
we haven't done one of those.
We haven't done one of these in a while.
Right on.
Here we go. I'm going to play you a snippet. This is one of the bands. Now I'm going to give you 2 bands. So I'm going to play you a snippet of one band.
Snippy.
And then
before you get started, do you kind of have an idea of where you think we're going to land?
I know where I'm going to land.
You don't know where we're going to land?
I honestly don't know where either of you are going to land on this. I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
That's what I like about it.
So
about these. Let's do it.
All right. Here's the first one. Oh, maybe
you should share your sound.
Share my sound.
Well, I'm sorry I had to steal it to show the pre-production.
Ooh, hot! Came in hot there, brother.
I've been looking for a girl like you. You look at me, you got nothing left to say.
They suck.
He said they suck. So,
dude, that first album, I don't care who that
the
first
only
album was great. No, the second album was good, but the first album was just a killer album. Every song's great. Hold My Hand, baby. Come on. Let Her Cry. Only Want to Be With You. Come on, man. Those 3 songs are amazing.
That's it. Those are the only hits they ever had.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, continue.
So
just because you like it doesn't make it a
hit. For everybody listening and watching, the first group is Hootie and the Blowfish. Now, so are you getting in their corner? Fisher obviously is not. I could probably play.
I don't know. It depends on what you play next.
I could probably play Barbie Girl next, and he's going to go with Barbie Girl. But
probably.
Wait, can you
Yeah, I
name
know.
can you name the band, Gurfers?
No, I can't. I cannot.
It's Aqua.
So that's what I just said.
Aqua.
I said Aqua. I did. Again, I've said this in the show before.
Aki.
I said it really fast, and it came out as sounding I don't know, but I really did say Aqua. So, okay.
Oh my gosh.
So we have on this side, you'll see a graphic over here that'll say Hootie and the Blowfish.
Hootie and the Blowfish.
And then here in a
You
second,
know, every time you say there's going to be a graphic over here or over here, he never does.
he never puts it on there. Son of a bitch.
Fine, I'll put
Anyway,
a graphic there.
There's going to be an album cover, a graphic, something right here.
I'm going to put a
says
big,
Hootie and the
large
Blowfish.
Johnson in his hand. That's what I'm going to do.
On this side over here,
Taking pictures of me again.
on this side, right over this way, is going to be this band.
Oh, great. Oh my gosh.
I had a feeling that's who it was going to be. Most definitely that band. Are you serious? You really thought I would pick you? Not the song I would have picked by Dave Matthews, but
It's all right.
Dragons were smoked, bumblebees were stinging. That's how I soon to be crazy.
So, right
That
about
is-
now,
That is
the bass was
unfair.
hot on that.
Right now,
That is
you
very
will be seeing-
unfair.
right over here, Dave Matthews Band. Over here, Hootie and the Blowfish. I know where I stand. Again, I don't know. Like,
I think it's going to be a clean sweep.
I think it will be too. I'm making it official. I'm getting in Dave Matthews' corner, even though I do like Hootie. I do. And, but in these two bands, you can't. For me, you can't go wrong with Dave. You just can't.
I'll let you go. I'll let you go next, Fisher.
No, I mean, come on.
I mean, you already said Dave Matthews, so I figured you'd want to embellish on that. Why would you say Dave Matthews over
Because
Hootie?
they're a much better band. Like, I don't even think it's a debate. I don't.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm just laughing. I would put it a little bit more poetically myself, but that's
Well,
neither here
then
nor
why
there.
don't you wax poetic?
Okay, so this is the thing. You look at the history of the band. Hootie and the Blowfish really put out 2 quality albums. The first one, which was just a smash hit. However, Dave Matthews, Under the Table and Dreaming, you have Crash. I mean, you have there's the EP that's before that wasn't as big. And then you have These Crowded Streets. I mean, the 3 albums alone in that span, no one was bigger than Dave Matthews. I mean, well, there's other bands arguably as big, but we always talk about a 3-album stretch, or whatever. Those 3 albums, man, they all have hits. They're all amazing. They're all great. The drumming alone kicks everything, everything that Hootie put out. I mean, I can just listen to Carter's drums and be satisfied. So for me, as much, and I absolutely love that first Hootie album. I gotta go Dave Matthews. Man.
Yeah.
That's just unfair. I mean, the number of hits alone. I mean, I wore out Crash. I liked Under the Table and Dreaming, but for me, Crash and These Crowded Streets, I can't tell you how often I listen to those. And Spoon is one of my favorite tracks, like just period, maybe top. I have a lot of favorite tracks, so we'll say top 20 of all the songs I listen to. Spoon is one of those tracks that I could just listen to over and over again. It's just, Alanis Morissette singing that last verse before it goes into that instrumental section. Bella Fleck on the banjo. It's just great stuff. So there you go. There's my answer. That's a little unfair, though.
I don't know if Ryan meant to do this. I think it's, you can kind of hear in their sounds, both of them. from the same area of the country.
Yeah.
Right. Hootie's from South Carolina. Dave Matthews is from Virginia.
Yeah. It has that sheen to it.
Yeah, it has that East Coast kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Not quite the upper East Coast, right? Not New York or Boston or but the mid East Coast.
Yeah. Except for those drums, man. Those drums, I'm sorry.
I think what sets them apart in my mind, the Dave Matthews Band, what sets them apart from Hootie is the rhythm section of the band.
Yeah.
You've got Carter and I can't remember the bass player's name to save my life.
Yeah. I know what he looks like.
Yeah, he holds the bass way up here.
Yep.
But the way they interact on stage or in the studio and just what they play is Stefan Lassard, that's his name, the bass player.
Okay.
They're just what they play is more intricate, it's more technical as opposed to what the guys in Hootie do. They're very, very straightforward, right? It's a little more digestible than a Dave Matthews track, maybe, right? I would dare to say that Dave Matthews borders on progressive.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas Hootie is
straight
like
pop.
I said, it's just a straightforward pop.
Yeah.
Right. We're gonna be in and out in 3.5, 4 minutes with our songs and on to the next one, right?
Yeah. And their vocal styles, even though the tone is different, their range and how they sing is very similar as well.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it is definitely a no-brainer for me. I liken, I don't know why that this comparison just popped in my brain, but what Hootie put out is very similar, at least in my mind, to those first couple of John Mayer albums. Where John Mayer was pretty pop, right? And it wasn't until he put out like his third or fourth album, and then he did the John Mayer Trio, right? When you really got to see what John could do on guitar, which that man is an amazing guitar player.
Yep. I was not sold until I saw him live, so I get it.
Those first couple of albums that he puts out are bubblegum pop, basically. And that's what I equate Hootie, Hootie as is bubblegum pop. And I'll listen to a Hootie song if it comes on the radio or if we're sitting on the back porch, right, doing what we always do, and it comes on, I'll listen to it more for the nostalgia factor than anything else, because there was that 2-album stretch was 3 or 4 years you couldn't get away from Hootie and the Blowfish. They were all over the place.
Yeah
Right. And right there with them was Dave Matthews Band.
Yeah.
So
well, I think if I remember correctly, Under the Table and Dreaming and the Hootie and the Blowfish cracked rear review
that
mirror,
sounds
I think
right.
is what it's called.
Mirror.
I think both of those albums came out the same year, like 94, 95. So around that time. So you're 100% right. I mean, they were basically at the forefront, and you could not, turn over a rock without hearing a Hootie song.
Look at you. Under the Table and Dreaming did come out in 94. Good job.
Yeah. Well, I have moments. Thank you. I'll be here.
I'm here all week. Try the fish.
Yeah. I may not be successful in my dating life, but man, I can tell you what year an album came out.
Well, maybe this one will stick.
Cracked Rearview Mirror came out in 94 as well.
The relationship.
Oh, well,
look at you.
Thank you again. And thank you, Ryan. I hope so.
Joel slaying it.
Well, there you go. Well, okay. So it was a clean sweep. Easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clean sweep.
Now, Watch this. Y'all are going to like this because we're going to go straight into featured artist.
Oh.
Now watch this. Editing team, I'm going to give you something to do here.
Oh my.
Okay. I'm going to give the editing team something to do here.
No,
So
let me make
here
my
we go.
notes.
Here we go. So as we listen to the next featured artist to end the year, I thought maybe we'd go a little against the grain
Oh no.
and see, and just stay with me on this.
I'm
Okay.
staying with.
And this, I think this is going to be good.
Okay.
Okay. Now, jam in on the one for the editing team here. Now, for our featured artist coming up to begin the year, I think it'd be awesome to start the year off going against the grain. Okay? So,
Deja vu.
because typically what we do is we go with band this, group that, solo artist this, solo artist that.
If you
Okay.
play Bad Bunny, I'm shutting it down.
I'm
Sorry.
going to tell you right now, it is Bad Bunny, and it is not Bad Bunny, so calm down. As the saying used to be, calm your tits. And so
Calm them down, brother. Calm them
we're
down.
going to jump right into this. I'm not going to give you any stats, even though I have some.
Ooh.
You will understand what I'm saying when I'm saying against the grain. And this is either going to be really good or y'all are going to go, this is really effing stupid.
So we could go another 30 to 45 minutes, or this is going to be the shortest episode ever.
I actually think y'all will enjoy this. I really do.
That first listen is sounding better and better, Fisher.
I really no. I honestly think y'all are going to like this.
Okay,
it is
let's do it.
music. So
You know
here we
what?
go.
I have an open mind.
Actually, I will give you this stat.
And an open heart.
And an
This
open heart.
person has 25 Grammy Awards.
Okay.
Good Lord.
Okay. That's
Bob
all.
Henry-
Dylan.
Henry Mancini.
Here we go.
Bob Dylan. Yeah.
Oh man.
So I don't get I'm using YouTube. The sexy fade is not going to happen right now. So I figured let's talk about John Williams tonight
Oh man.
and what that man has done.
Yeah.
What hasn't he done?
I was gonna say like
Because here's the thing, we always talk about the actual musician. We always talk about the person that's doing the singing or doing the playing or doing the, we never talk about the composer.
yeah, oh man.
And this guy, let me tell you, he's got 5 Academy Awards, 25 Grammys, and what he's done in the movie world with his music, like, is nuts. Everybody,
Yeah. Yeah. He's,
like that, of course, for those of you that literally have no life and have lived under a rock, you just heard the Star Wars theme. If you don't know that's Star Wars, I'm sorry, but I mean, John Williams, if you look at his like major work, like holy crap.
well, you've got Star Wars. You've got the original Superman.
So he has 5
you
Academy
got
Awards.
Jaws.
Let me give you his 5 Academy Award wins because I don't have time to read you all of the nominations for
Harry
Academy
Potter.
Awards. So he has an Academy Award for Fiddler on the Roof,
Yep.
for Jaws,
Yep.
for Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
for E.T.,
Mm-hmm.
and for Schindler's List.
Woo. Him and Spielberg, man.
I know. I was
Those-
about to say he was Spielberg's go-to because I don't want to get this wrong, but I am pretty sure he does the music for Indiana Jones too.
He
He does.
So I'm going to
does.
play you some more snippets of some of his stuff here. just because there's so much. And some of you listening and watching, y'all might hear some of these and go, I didn't realize that was John Williams. Wait until you hear the little clips that I'm about to play for you over the next little bit. And you're going to go, wow, he composed that and wrote that. Wow, he composed that and wrote, like, it's insane. His catalog.
Yeah.
His catalog is stupid. And
Yeah.
so, but it is. And so,
Home Alone.
dude. It's so good.
For my daughter Caroline, it is not Christmas until she hears, not sees the movie, but until she hears the Home Alone score.
Yeah.
Yep.
When she
Yeah.
hears that, she's like, "Ooh, it's Christmas."
Yep. So you've got that Home Alone. You've got this. Watch these guys. If you're watching, which you should be, watch these guys when I hit play. I mean,
Now, here's the question.
Okay.
Is his music great because it's in a great movie? Or is the movie great because his great music is in it?
I will argue this because we've had this conversation come up before. I will argue this. His music makes the movie great. Because I think you can have a movie with a terrible soundtrack and score. And that to me, the soundtrack and the score that goes along with the movie is what sets the tone and the mood for the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've the big.
Oh my gosh, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry.
The big example I've heard is Top Gun, where there's a scene between Tom Cruise and Kelly McGillis. Now, he didn't do the score for that, but they put in that song "Meet Me Halfway," during that kind of intimate scene, and they said that the movie was totally lagging until they put that song in there, and it brought the scene together. Now,
what scene?
The scene where they're riding the bike and then they go back to one of their places and they do the hibbity jibbity. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
That Meet Me Halfway. If you watch the behind the scenes on the making of that, they said that Tom Cruise and Kelly McGillis, it just wasn't working. There wasn't chemistry in that scene, but the music is what helped develop that moment and make it look more intimate. That being said, for me personally, I think this is one of the rare instances where the music and the movie, they make each other. Like,
yes,
you can't, in my opinion, you can't separate the intro to Star Wars with the scroll going up without the dun 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 dun. You just, for me, you can't. Indiana Jones, you just heard it. You can't separate that from the movie. Their DNA is so intertwined. Now, other movies, maybe not, but I think in those cases specifically, they make each other better.
But what I think makes them make each other better is it's literally a composer writing a score for the movie. It's not using a song by Foreigner or a song by whoever else
Kenny Loggins
out there, Kenny Loggins
or
whoever that, right? Or you don't have in today's movies, like you don't have a John Mayer undertone in a romantic scene. It's literally, he was chosen to compose basically these orchestras to go along with the movie.
Yes. See, for me, his scores are similar to Danny Elfman, like those
Or Hans Zimmer.
or Han. Oh, that's a great example too. But like, you can't take Danny Elfman's score away from Beetlejuice. Like,
Yeah,
that music and that movie, they're together.
correct.
Any of those, Sleepy Hollow, any of those, and the same thing with John Williams. I feel like when you look at the big ones that we know, they're just it's one cohesive unit for me. I can't separate them.
What John Williams score isn't a big, you know what I mean? Like, maybe.
No, you're right. Everything that he's composed for cinema has been gold.
Yeah.
Watch this guy when I hit play right now. Watch him. For real. Watch this dude.
I'm
It's going to be awesome.
Slow zoom.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, golly.
Do you know what that is?
I don't recognize.
I
that
know
one.
Fisher knows this one.
I mean, I
I
love
recognize
it.
it. I recognize it.
That is the "You Are the Pan" from Hook.
Yes.
Um,
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
So I'm
like,
gonna shock y'all.
One of his most underrated scores.
I've never
ever.
seen that movie.
Oh, you're off the freaking podcast.
Never
Get
seen
outta
it.
here with that shit. Oh, that's such a freak. Oh my
Hey,
god.
I just got introduced to The Big Lebowski, so maybe it's time we put on Hook.
Dude,
When
Hey, you know what?
when he-
Let's have another get together. Let's do it.
when he
yes.
when he's on his knees begging for help, and the little and that's the music that's playing, and the little boy walks over and puts his hands on his face, and there you are, Peter.
There you are, Peter.
Oh my God! I'm a 44-year-old man, and I'm about to be 45, and I am not ashamed to say that anytime I watch that movie, when that part comes on, tears.
He's gonna
And
cry like a little B word.
And I think it's I know it has a lot to do with his score. That one,
little
and I
B
think
word.
you little bitch. Yeah, I said it. I made the comment just a second ago, like which scores of his aren't big, and I think that one, even though I know that one and I love that score to Hook, I don't think it's one of his most popular ones, right? Obviously, because I recognize it, I couldn't place it, but I think another one that's kind of, I guess, underrated or not quite as known is his score for Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
For me, it's big. For me,
That
it's
is
big
such a
only because
great movie.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, do 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 do. I mean,
People our age and older will.
It's ingrained in my DNA. Like, I can hear that interval and I know exactly what song that is. So
yeah. Well, it's funny y'all bring that up. So
Give her 6 quavers, then pause.
She sent us 4 quavers, a group of 5 quavers, a group of 4 semi-quavers.
that's just so cool. What he does with like all the different little instruments that he's got going on, playing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for someone who was into music, like for me, I know we talk about music and we have fun, but like my younger years, I was such an interesting, I'll just put it that way, interesting person, that I got lost in. Like, that was communication that I understood. I may not be able to have, relationships and friendships and stuff that were close like I do now in my older age, but when I was younger, like I could be lost in a song, and having a whole movie where communication is done through music, and it, Richard Dreyfuss's character figures it out, and it's just such a beautiful scene. And of course, he joins them on the ship and is taken off at the end. Spoiler alert for anyone that hasn't seen it. But like for me,
that movie is 44 years old. 45. If people don't know,
well, I'm just saying. But like for me, that was such, like I had such a deep connection to a movie like that I didn't understand it at that time. I do now that I'm older, but like hearing that just brings me back to being a kid watching that movie on cable and just being blown away, like
Well,
such a
speaking
big
of,
deal.
I'm going to take us back, or at least me back to being a kid. Listen to this one. I know y'all remember this.
oh, such a good one.
Dude.
Is that Jurassic Park?
That's
Heck
Jurassic
yeah,
Park.
that's Jurassic Park.
Man, that is just everything that is
Yeah.
good.
I was waiting for the da 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 da
Yeah.
da da. Man,
It's so like that takes me back to being a kid. But what's so great about it is like even it just goes like there's no words. It's all instrumental. But we can, damn it.
Yeah. It's
What
not
are we
summer.
doing? I'm
It's not
hitting
summer.
all the damn here, just go.
It's not summer until this one plays.
But it's like
what this makes me think of is Sam Smith.
yeah.
Every
But you
time.
have this, and it's like there's no words to this. But we all know what it is, and it's good.
One of the greatest movies of all time.
You know what's happening.
What's the beginning? So it's going through the coral.
Yeah.
Man.
God.
Uh-huh.
Man, it's just there's
yeah.
I'm looking at the movies that he's
Yeah.
written scores for, and I mean, for the most part, these movies came out either when I was a kid or a young adult, and I mean, I'm just looking at them, and these are like almost all of my favorite movies
Yeah.
of all
Yeah.
time, right?
You know, I
And
actually,
what-
when I taught lessons, anytime a kid started screwing up, that's what I'd play.
Well,
And they
what
knew that they had messed up. So that's
what I
funny.
love about John Williams and the way he writes his music for some of these movies as well, and you see it in Harry Potter, you see it. Well, I'll get to that in a second. You see in Star Wars as well. Each character has its own little theme, has its own
Yeah.
little miniature theme orchestra within the big orchestra. It's like it's so freaking cool.
Yeah. What's also amazing is if you just do a quick glance, because I was doing what Fisher was doing, just because I was like, I know a lot of what he's done, but I just wanted to kind of refresh. If you look from the time he started doing scores, like soundtracks, to not even the other stuff, just the scores from 60 through current, he pretty much was doing 2 to 3 a year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's insane.
2 to 3, and that's not even including all the other stuff he did. He was the conductor for the Boston Pops and all this
Mhm.
other stuff. I mean, the guy was just a machine. And this is the other thing. Like I always say, one of the segments that I wanted to do this next year is I would like to bring guitar solos that just I like. And some of them you may know, some of them you may not. But one of the things that I've noticed is that if you can sing a solo, you know it's not just a good solo. So like for
Right.
instance, I know Fisher's going to shake his head, but when you put on Slash's solo for November Rain, I guarantee you can sing almost all of it. Now, you may not like it, you may not like the song, but you can sing that freaking solo. It's so well thought out and written. And that's a testament to John Williams, is that when you started playing, I didn't know that was Jurassic Park at first, but I remember that I could literally sing that whole part. Have I ever listened to it on its own? No. But I've seen the movie a few times, and it was such a memorable part that I could sing that. I don't know the hook one, but as soon as you heard it, like I could recall that melody. It was
Mhm.
just like a natural instinct. You know, any of the Indiana Jones stuff, the Star Wars stuff, dude, I don't care what it is. You can start playing it. We can sing along to it. I mean, I immediately was dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
and
it's
you'll do it with this one.
oh my gosh.
No, you'll do it with this one.
I'm sure I will.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
Yep. Superman logo starts flying through with all the stuff.
I love this movie.
Dude.
Oh,
Yeah.
I immediately just turned into an 8-year-old.
Yes.
Right?
Oh my gosh. I mean, but what's crazy, just looking at, I mean, you've hit on a lot of them, you know, Jaws, Superman. He did Star Wars, E.T.
Mhm.
He did The Witches of Eastwick, Space Camp, Empire of the Sun. When I was a kid, it was a movie I wasn't allowed to watch. But dude, that was like a soundtrack. Like I remember everybody was talking about how good it was. Born on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Let's see, Hook, JFK. Jeez, I mean, Schindler's List, which you played. I mean, Sleepers. You know, all of those
Yeah,
early.
dude, he did the Poseidon Adventure too.
Yeah, Saving Private Ryan. I mean, God, like just looking through this list. I mean, AI. I don't know if you remember that movie, but that was a
Yeah.
big one. Minority Report. Catch Me If You Can. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
And that's, dude, I just went up to 2004. Like, that's it. It's,
War of the Worlds,
yeah.
Memoirs of a Geisha, Munich. Oh,
Munich,
Munich.
yeah,
Munich
Munich.
is such a good movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, God, it's just
So
amazing.
I'm gonna play this and see where it is. I'm kind of towards the end of this. You mentioned this movie. This is the one for me that's my favorite. So let me see where we are on this.
I recognize it.
E.T., man.
Yep. And then it comes in with that little, oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
I'm literally like a toddler again.
Yeah, we could have
listening to
watched.
this.
I mean, we could listen. This could have been the whole episode.
Like, oh, like I'm gonna have to go downstairs and watch that movie now.
Yeah, what makes me sad though is we're getting to this age. So you had all the classical composers that were funded, and then movies came out, and it allowed for composers to really make money. They could sell records and have a living. And now what we're seeing is in my opinion, we're seeing a dawning of that era. Because as movies become more digital, as editing becomes more digital, the normal thing is we don't have the music programs, we're cutting them left and right. I think what you're going to see is more of a synthesized version of these soundtracks, which for me personally, when you get a vinyl record, you listen to the ET, and this is great, let's say through your headphones, but I remember listening to the ET soundtrack on a vinyl record, and there's just tonalities there with an orchestra that you just don't get. And I'm very much, I record at home, I do all that stuff, but there's just something about a room. There's something about a room with a group of people that get in together and they ebb. It is like Metallica. When they ebb and flow on their tracks, there's just something about that you cannot recreate in a digital environment. And so what makes me sad is, he's not young. These songs,
I think he's like 94.
These songs, he already said he did his last Star Wars. Like he said, I'm not doing any more, I'm done. We are looking at the end of an era with him, Hans Zimmer. It just makes me sad.
Danny Elfman.
Yeah. But at least Danny Elfman's like what, 60, 50, 60. Yeah. But you're right. Like these guys, like that type of recording it's starting to go away. And that just makes me really sad because they will never experience what we got to experience in the theater, hearing that orchestral sound coming through the speakers with these beautiful images on a screen. And I know that's a very get off my lawn kind of comment.
It's okay.
But it's truthful though, right? Just makes me sad.
You speak of the orchestral sound and all that. Before we go on to the first listen, I have to, because I'm going to pull a Joel real quick where I have to finish this. There's only like 30 some odd seconds left of this ET ending, but how it builds
Oh my gosh, no.
No,
come on.
Have to. It's so good because it literally hits home with what he just got done saying. With we got to do it. I mean,
dude, just the
Bruh.
extensions. I'm a more mature musician, so I can hear certain things that I couldn't hear before. But just those extensions, that da 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 da, as it's doing that other.
mhm.
It's just the simple things, and again, people, people don't understand. I think a lot of us take for granted how difficult that is for him to write it, assemble it, record it, and lock it into these movie soundtracks. So Ryan, I had to say, like, some of the curveballs you throw, I kind of go whatever.
How are
but
you
like,
gonna bring him up and not play Harry Potter?
I don't.
Well, I mean, Harry Potter is what it is. It's just Harry Potter is. It's a
One of his
very.
greatest
It's a
scores ever.
It's okay.
Well, we
It's-
only have so much time, Fisher.
It's
so.
Star Wars light.
Wow.
You know.
I mean, think about it. He's not lying. Orphan child, has to live with his uncle, told he shouldn't practice magic, goes off to the school to learn how. I mean, and it kind of is.
It's
But Luke never went to the Jedi Temple. Thank
It's-
you very
the
much.
whole it's pretty similar.
it's
though.
Star Wars light.
It is Star Wars. Like,
It is. I mean, if you want, since you're running the since you're doing the first listen, if you want to play a little bit of Harry Potter, do it.
No, that was your
No.
segment, and you decided not to. So.
okay, first off,
Okay.
you two don't crap on an awesome segment. Okay. The thing is if we're being honest,
I mean, it's what we do.
we could have dedicated the whole episode just to John
Correct.
Williams.
Like we
Just
didn't-
like the Glenn Campbell episode and some of the other ones that we've done. I mean, it's
Well, I mean, if you go on his website, if you go on John Williams' website, did you know that he composed the theme song for Gilligan's Island?
I did not, but it doesn't surprise me. All I know is on Wikipedia, he has 3 different pages. one for his orchestral stuff and one for his soundtrack work, and then another one that's just a general one about him. So it doesn't surprise me.
Well, going back to what, real quick before we go to the first listen, going back to what you were saying about everything being digital and just the natural progression of things, I think the thing, yes, you lose a lot when you're not in the room with the orchestra, them playing. But someone still has to compose the music, right? Someone still has to play it on the keyboard or whatever, however they're going to play the music.
Yeah.
I mean, when you compose for an orchestra, it's not like a band where it's 4 or 5 members, 3 to 5 members, right? They sit down, and it's not like Dave Matthews. It's not like the Dave Matthews Band. The guy's sitting down going, okay, here's the song, and I'll write the melody, you write you do the rhythm, all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's the composer, whether it's John Williams or one of my other favorites, Hans Zimmer, or Alan Silvestri. He did the Avengers theme.
He's really good too. Yeah.
Right. They're writing parts for like what, 20 different instruments in the
Yeah.
orchestra.
Yeah.
Right. And
Or more.
more.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
Just depending on what they want. And that's talent. And so, I mean, you can get those parts, or like, digitally or however. Someone still has to sit down and write it, right? So I think you'll still have some of that human quality still to it, but nothing beats having a full orchestra sit down and record the music for the movie.
Yeah.
And we've got to, but before we go on to the first listen, we've got to give a nod to the actual musicians that are playing
Yeah.
his scores. Like, these are not scrubs off the side of the street that were like, hey, I see you have a trumpet there, come play this. Like, he's got like legitimate, like world-renowned
world-class
musicians
players
playing these scores, and it's like these people are doing an amazing job.
Yeah, 100%. And that there's something about collectively getting in a room with a group of guys or a group of women or a combination of both and giving them an idea and having them play your idea. And sometimes it's like, no, I like this. But sometimes you hear what they do and you go, that's even better than what I thought. And I can't tell you how many times I've written, like Trey and I've written songs over the years. Ezra and I've written songs over the years. And I would bring in an idea, and when you flesh it out with humans, there's a human element, like iron sharpening iron, that just, it can either reinforce the original idea you have, or they're playing like these masterful musicians that have vibratos and certain things that John Williams cannot do. And then they play and they bring to life these scores that he writes. So you're 100% right. It definitely is a hand in hand kind of experience. But the thing that I'm concerned with is that as music progresses and you can have dots and buttons and all this other stuff, and you can have no musical experience but still write. Like Trent Reznor can play. He does all this technical programming, but he can sit down at a piano and play.
Right.
Some of these other people, like some of these EDM guys, they know how to push buttons, and that's how they write. And I think that what I'm concerned with is eventually you're going to have these composers that just use this electronic means, and it'll be good because talent will always overcome, but I think it'll be more sterile than John Williams writing a score, giving it to these amazingly beautiful, the best of the best, and having them record it. That's my
well
only thing.
I think, I mean, I think in the because we're in the era now of big budget movies, right? Whether they're comic book movies or adaptations from pop culture, whether it be book or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think the big budget movies, like your Marvel movies, your DC movies, Star Wars, things of that nature, I think you're still gonna have the orchestra because they can afford it, right? When you get into the lower tier budget movies, I think that's where you're going to see the proliferation of the digital composing, and then you'll have, I think, in a big budget movie, to kind of save money, they might, we'll just have them compose the theme, and then everything else after that will be digital, right? That could be how things go. I don't know. I think to make the movie epic, going back to the question 25 minutes, 30 minutes ago that I posed about, does his music make the movie great, or does the great movie make the music great? And in an instance like a John Williams or a Hans Zimmer or an Alan Silvestri or Michael Giacchino,
wow, theme dropping.
All great composers. Danny Elfman, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're old school. They're gonna, and I think you have people who are learning underneath them that will continue to, if you want my services, we got to do the orchestra. Because I think to make the movie epic, you have to have the epic sound and the grandness of an actual orchestra. That can't be recreated by pushing buttons. Right.
I hope you're right. I do. I really hope you're right. I just think that the money's going to dry up, because no one goes to the theaters like they used to,
If it's a good movie, they will.
Yeah.
Top Gun grossed over $1 billion.
Yeah.
So I think people are starting to come out of the fog of the pandemic and, like, you know what, let's go. I think what's going to keep people away from theaters, just like concerts, is the price of tickets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I have some friends on Facebook who tried to get tickets through that fiasco for Taylor Swift, and a friend of mine, she wants to go to. I say she's a friend. I graduated college with her. Still and follow her on Facebook, but she wants to go to the Taylor Swift concert in Arlington, and nosebleed seats are going for $1,000. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's going to keep people away from. And if money's going to dry up, that's going to be the reason.
Yeah. It's just such a
So-
far cry. I remember going to see Death Cab for Cutie for $20 on their fourth album. You know,
Right. Right.
like I mean, some of the concerts we've seen. I mean, I remember going to see a festival show with Metallica headlining and Ozzy Osbourne as the co-headliner, and it was $125 a ticket. I mean, and we had good seats. It's like, and that
But
was an
100
all-day, and that was an all-day festival.
$125 for an all-day festival, decent seats. That's understandable,
Yeah.
right? But I mean, I haven't actually seen what the exact prices are, but the Blink 182 reunion tour, I've heard those tickets are just stupid expensive.
Well, the only tickets
So-
I've seen is that festival that's in Las Vegas, and they are stupid expensive. But
Right.
I also am willing to go pay it because, I mean, when are you going to see that many cool punk bands together? But I digress. So, Fisher, this has been a great episode so far, but I hear that you actually have the first listen.
I do, and it's going to get better
Okay, well,
because
I'm
this is a true first listen. Never heard this song before.
none of us have.
Unless you were up early this morning because it dropped today.
Okay, then no.
It came out today,
Okay.
and maybe you can tell who it's by the grin on my face. I'm just going to tell you. I'm going to tell you the name of the song.
Yes,
It's
please.
called. You know what? I'm not even going to tell you the name of the song. I'm just going to play it.
Just play it. We're ready.
Here we go.
Anticipation, indomitable.
Not over.
I still like it. I'll clap along. Okay, there we go.
Okay, there it is. That's the new song by the Boys, by Metallica, Lux Eterna. I looked it up. That means eternal light. The name of the new album is 72 Seasons.
You know,
Morton Lorenzen, an old school composer, wrote a Lux Eterna as well. And I sang that, and it was
Nice.
amazing. I sang the Lux Eterna.
is that the concert we went to and saw, or I went to and saw you sing?
No, we didn't sing it at that one. We sang it at a different place. But
Look at you.
I tell you what, man, that
Hey, he's not all just beard and
Hey.
pretty face, man.
Nice.
He's not all long
Lux
gone.
Eterna, Luceat Eis Requiem. I mean, come on, bruh.
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 There, bro. That was
Okay,
part of the
I'm going to
lyrics.
speak first. Okay, first off, this song makes me happy. It is a full circle return to the Metallica that I fell in love with. It's not Master of Puppets. It's before that. The thing that I love most, and I give him crap about this all the time, and Fisher tells me I need to drop it. That is a Kirk Hammett solo that I love. That style, that
Because it didn't have wah.
no, it has nothing to do with the wah. It's his note choices. He hints at some blues, but he doesn't rely on the bendy blues thing with the wah. Like he could have put the wah in there and I would have been fine. But I love his lead that he does, and then he goes into this kind of reckless, like non-coherent solo thing that ties it back into the end. I absolutely love this song. I was trying to hold my smile because I didn't want to like give it away, but I was thinking that mother scratcher, man. Like I give him shit all the time because I know it's there, but I think sometimes as players, and I find myself doing the same thing, I'll get a lick that I like, and then it becomes my thing. I'm not Kirk Hammett playing, how many hundreds of shows a year, but like we kind of can fall into that. This is a return to form. They all sound great. Lars, it's garage days. I'm very excited to hear the rest of the album. If it's like this, like I like their other stuff. I like the new stuff. I love Death Magnetic, but I'm very excited to hear this album now.
Well, unfortunately, you're going to have to wait till April 14th to hear the album.
Dude, I can wait.
That's the downside.
I can wait.
But I agree with you. That had a very kill 'em all feel.
Exactly.
Had a very kill 'em all feel. A very hit the lights / whiplash
100%
feeling, right? Yeah. From what James and Kirk play to what Lars plays to what Rob was playing, down to the lyrics, right? It's very much a hit the lights. Like, I saw, obviously I saw that this came out and saved the first listen because I didn't want to spoil it.
Well, thank you for not spoiling.
So listen for the first time, all three together, for the show, right? So, but I went and did what I typically do when they put out a new album, or I go, okay, I got to find out more about it.
Yeah.
Right. And the album's name, like I said, is called 72 Seasons. If you divide that by 4, because 4 seasons in a year, that's 18. And the whole gist of the album is the first 18 years of your life, that's when you form who you are. And it's basically influenced by your parents and your upbringing. And this album is about your response to, okay, 18 on my own, am I going to stay this person? Am I going to? And this is all about, from what I can gather, I haven't read the lyrics, but it's a hit the lights, like, hey, we're all together. Hit the lights as we're all together at a show. But this is more, we're here in the moment, our life. Here's how we do it. I thought it was. What I like about it is, yes, it sounds like what they did in the early days, but it doesn't. It doesn't sound like anything they've done before, right?
It's like the Pixies, man. It doesn't sound dated. It sounds like Metallica.
And that's what I love about Metallica, whether it's Kill 'Em All or Master of Puppets, the Black Album, the Load and Reload stuff. They stick to, we're going to write what we want to hear, what we want to play, and if you like it, great. If you don't, we'll catch you on the next one.
Yep.
And so I was hoping they'd put out a new album, because Kurt just turned 60. They're all getting up there,
Hey, there's nothing like a divorce to spawn some new music. That's all I'm going to say. Poor James. Sorry, James.
He's the one who filed.
I know.
But just so y'all know, August 23rd, there'll be, so the whole gist of this tour is they're going to do 2 nights in a city. Each night is a different opening act and a different set list. And I'll give you 2 guesses who one of the bands is in Arlington.
Avenged Sevenfold?
No.
Who?
Think local.
Oh, the band that does Let the Bodies Hit the Floor?
No.
Local?
Only, yeah.
Polyphia?
Like local to Arlington.
Like Polyphia? They're
Starts with a
Dallas.
P.
Man, I'm totally. Come on, Gurfers, help me out on this.
What, Pantera?
There you go.
Oh,
Pantera.
no. Man.
Yes. It's Rex and Phil with
No,
Charlie
we need-
Benante from Anthrax
Anthrax.
and Zach Wilde on guitar.
I'm sorry.
And then the second night in Arlington, they're with Mammoth.
Oh, okay. I would be okay with that. Okay. I love Pantera. We don't need to get on this. We can talk about this on another episode. I have a problem with this. I have a
Why?
problem
Because it's not the Abbott
because
brothers.
the Abbott brothers who started the band are not in the band, and
They can't be in the band.
I know because they're dead, but still, I have problem. We'll discuss this at a later date. I need to put my thoughts together. That breaks my heart. Pantera needs to die with the brothers. That's just I hate to say that. Now,
I don't disagree.
If Rex and Phil want to put together a Pantera or Cowboys from Hell cover band, you know what? Go do it. But I don't think that you should call it. And I love Charlie and I love Zach. So this is not a knock to them. And I guarantee you, Zach is doing this because he loved his friend. He loved Dimebag.
Yeah.
I just, with the bad things that Phil said about the brothers, and considering it was really their band before Phil got in the band, I just have a problem with this. I'm excited that Metallica's playing, and I think that that's going to be amazing and awesome.
Now, talk about expensive tickets.
Oh, I can only imagine.
I think even though I love them, but I think I've seen my last Metallica show.
Oh, come on, guys, come on.
Well,
hey, how about this? How about y'all buy my ticket this time?
Pre-sale is Friday.
The check's in the mail.
You take Venmo?
You take Venmo? Hey, can you Venmo it?
What about Cash App?
You take Cash App.
Hey, dog.
Hey, dog.
Tell him I ain't got it.
I'm a little short this month.
Tell him I put something on it.
I put 5 on it.
Oh my gosh.
Ask him to take a post-dated check.
Okay, so the only person we haven't heard from is Gurfers. Gurfers,
yeah,
did you like it?
About what?
The track.
I mean, it was all right. I mean, it's Metallica. It had guitars, a bass, and drums.
Oh my gosh.
And so, I mean,
shut up.
It's all right. I didn't expect anything from him.
It sounded just like all of their other stuff. Lots of heavy guitars, some solos.
Some tweedly dealy dees.
You know, there was a little bit of there, and then we're good. So, no, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. But yeah, I mean, I don't have anything to add that y'all haven't already said. It was good. And I like Joel. Cannot wait to hear the rest.
Gotcha. Well,
again, not till April.
well,
Or until they start, unless they
well,
do what they
they'll-
did. Unless they do what they did, they'll drop a song
they'll
every
drop some
few
songs
weeks or
here and
so.
there. Yeah, and then we'll get the
It's
whole
12.
album.
It's a 12-song album. You want to hear some of the songs from the album?
You have like names of them?
Yeah. So the
Nice.
name of the album is 72 Seasons. And that's the opening track, 72 Seasons. The next is Shadows Follow, Screaming Suicide, Sleepwalk My Life Away, You Must Burn. Then the song that we just heard, Lux Eterna. Number 7 is Crown of Barbed Wire, Chasing Light, If Darkness Had a Sun, Too Far Gone, Room of Mirrors, and Inamorata.
So it's an album full of long love songs, fucker.
It's a love song, fucker.
It's a whole album. It's a compilation of love songs for your night. Hey, okay. So since you're already talking, man, I'll just make the quick. Hey, follow us. On all the things that are now on
From all socials.
all the socials that are on the screen right now. Like, subscribe, hit the button so we can hear the bell. Spread the word.
Spread
Big
it,
Bird.
yo.
So, Fisher, since you have been killing it at the end of this episode and breaking my heart about the Pantera news, why did you go ahead and
I'm just relaying the information.
I know, just go. We need to talk about this offline. I need to be able to cuss, but
Right.
why don't you go on ahead and tell us some channels we need to check out?
Well, I think it's kind of serendipitous, if you will, that Ryan brought John Williams for the featured artist.
By the
because
way,
I'm
your
gonna go a little-
vocabulary is kicking tonight. What
Isn't
was
it?
the other word you used? Serendipitous, but you used another word earlier. Proliferate. Damn.
Yeah. Yeah, making our audience go get the sources.
Are you like quoting the end of that NXS song where he's all doing all those words? Masticate, have sex on me, and he does all those words.
Well, dude, that's a killer video.
I think he does.
It's
I think proliferate is one of the words, but I could be wrong. But anyway, I'm sorry. I digress.
No, but I think it's fortuitous, if you will. There's another word that he brought John Williams as our featured artist because I'm going to go a little outside the box tonight. I'm not going to give you music channels. I'm going to give you 2 movie channels.
Oh, I thought you were going to say some other kind of channel. I was like, man,
No,
about
these
that
channels,
kind of show here.
So when I kind of broached this idea of the podcast to you guys, these channels were some influencers on me.
Okay.
The first one is the John Campea Show. And it's a guy named John. He's from Canada, lives in LA, and he does movie reviews. He talks about the movie business in general. And it's a format kind of like ours, where it's him and then 2 other guests. The guests kind of rotate. They're different guests all the time. But I've been watching him for years. He used to have a show on YouTube called AMC Movie Talk.
Yeah.
Where he was sponsored by the AMC theater chain. And then he went on to Collider and did Collider Movie Talk.
Okay.
And then went and decided, you know what, I'm going to do my own thing. And now he has the John Campea Show. So go check him out. If you like movies, which I hope you do, because the only other thing that we talk about when we get together, if it's not about music, it's about movies. Right?
It's true.
So the John Campea Show, I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah.
And then the other channel that I have is the Christian Harloff channel. Don't spell it like my name. He used to be on a podcast called the Schmoes Know. So you need to go check them out. The Schmoes Know Show. That is the show.
Schmoes Knows Show.
The Schmoes Know. It was the entire name of the channel or show was the Schmoes No Movies.
No, I
Right?
literally
It's
thought you
just
said Shimono show. I was
no
like,
Schmoes No.
Komodo? Just add
It's just a
Komodo.
couple of schmoes talking about movies, right?
Okay, I like it.
And that's what it was. But now he's gone on, and he will feature on John Campia's channel every now and again, and vice versa. But one of the things that he does that I really like is he has a show on his channel called the Sith Council, and he talks, and it's him and two other people, and they talk. Obviously, they talk Star Wars.
Yeah.
It used to be called the Jedi Council when it was on AMC Movie Talk and Collider Movie Talk, but now it's called the Sith Council, and he goes by the moniker of Darth Harloff. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I've been watching him for years as well. So go check those two channels out: the John Campia Show and Christian Harloff.
Awesome. I like it, dude.
Nice. Well,
And Christian Harloff would have enjoyed being on this show because he is all about composers. Like he will, before he goes and sees a movie, he will buy the soundtrack, the score, and listen to it to get ready. And you should hear him go off about how the score to Phantom Menace ruined the end of the movie because it gives away what happens to Qui-Gon.
Ah,
Interesting.
I like it.
So there you go.
Well, as we end another fantastic episode, we'll give you another of one of John Williams' greatest. As we just end this, see, we worked it in. It can be the ending to the show. And I tell you what, Christian, you weren't wrong. This is actually really good. Even though it is Star Wars light, it's kind of like the Episcopal Church is to Catholic.
Wow! Wow! Shots fired.
Wow.
Boom goes.
Well,
the
there goes
dynamite.
our Italian audience.
So
But this soundtrack, not to prolong the show much, but this score to me goes right up there with a Hook or an E.T., Star Wars. Like when I hear this score, first of all I think is, ooh, it must be getting close to Christmas time. Because that's when these movies came out in November, right? But it's just this music, whether it's Harry Potter, whether it's E.T., whether it's Jurassic Park, Star Wars, Superman, Indiana Jones, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, this music just transports you into that world.
yeah, it does. Yeah. And then there's one other part of this that I love. Let me get it.
Man, he knows sexy fades it. He just
Hey, straight pulling out, man.
Look,
That's why he only has 2 and not 5. 5 kids, just 2. He knows how to pull it out.
so the end of the Harry Potter saga. This is from Deathly Hallows Part 2. This is the ending. I love what he does here.
right. Is this after the battle or is this on
Yeah,
the platform?
This is after all poo has hit the fan and everything's coming, like everything's done.
I guess I should watch these movies.
You've never seen the Harry Potter movies?
Seen the first one.
First, before you watch the rest of the movies, go read the books.
That's
He
why I
won't.
haven't watched them.
Dude, it's so good. This. The strings.
And that right there is why I don't think digital will overtake. You can't recreate that digitally.
You're right.
It makes me want to go buy a movie ticket, sit in theater, that an IMAX theater or a one of the Dolby, that's the word I was looking for, Dolby theaters. Those Dolby theaters from that at AMC, those are awesome. But that's what I love about scores. Not so much soundtracks, right? Not a Kenny Loggins soundtrack to Caddyshack or something like that. Even though that's a great soundtrack. I think when you have the orchestra, I know it's just something about going to a movie, sitting in your seat with your popcorn and your Coke. You watch, and then that surround sound hits you, and that orchestra hits you. And like I said, especially with John Williams music, you are right there. You are in it.
Yep.
So
I remember I've told the story a million times. Ireland didn't want to watch the first Star Wars, and I said, we're going to watch it. And she had her feet at the little table, and she was eating dinner. And the first part of Star Wars, that dun, and it jolted her. And from that moment forward, she wanted to watch every other movie. So the power of music.
It is. And we're going to keep bringing you the power of music every week. Tune in, like, subscribe, follow us, let everybody that you know. And just, man, love music. It is amazing. Let it into your life and it will change it. I promise you. But until next time, keep living, keep loving, keep listening. And as always, keep rocking.
I know exactly what this is.
it's my favorite Star Wars music.
Good episode, guys.
It's gonna be straight. That people are gonna be
Well,
like,
good. Well, I want to see the no Vaseline.
Would
What are we doing?
you use Microsoft Paint to make those graphics?
We keep it cheap here. We're on the
That's good.
cheap. We don't have a graphic designer yet, so I'm working on that.
There you go.
I hope that graphic designer wants to work for free.
You want me to go through the list?
No.
Bang, 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 ding, 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 ding. Well,
Wait.
there was my shell, and there, but no, I'm kidding.